Yeah, one thing I can let people know is that we've had a big following with our Middle-earth roleplay, obviously with Rolemaster, and one of the spin-offs from Rolemaster is Space Master. And hopefully, maybe at the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year, we could start our Space Master series. Going back to, like we mentioned earlier, Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is probably the best way to describe Space Master is a tabletop Guardians of the Galaxy kind of. Yeah.
Now, this is something that my channel people will know. I'm not a massive fan of Marvel, but Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the few Marvel movies in recent years that I've sat and watched and I didn't hate. I've gone as far to say that I've even watched the Telltale game of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I didn't hate that either. I was like, this is actually a good game, you know. But then Telltale does, or has done, very good games, and I know for the sake of people at iGame who are in our Discord, which by the way, if you do want to join us on Discord, you can by visiting the iGame website and following the link to our Discord page, where you can come and say hello to us whenever somebody's on. But I was making a point there and I've kind of lost it.
Guardians of the Galaxy, you will.
Yes, it is one that I'm considering playing, and Zeli Hayakulos, who's somebody else you'll see later tonight, who plays the character Selenara on Dragonlance, she posted a little article recently about the people at Telltale Games having to lay off the last of their skeleton crew. So I'm very sorry to see Telltale possibly leaving us now. I don't know what's happening on that front. I don't know if there's been any more news about what's going on with Telltale in general. I know that Wispa's generally the type of person who would know those kind of things, or Zelly is more the kind of person who will know those kind of things. Have you heard anything more about what's happening with Telltale?
I haven't heard anything apart from they are closing down Telltale for the moment. I don't think the company's gone yet. I think what they've done is they've just mothballed that creative department for the moment. They have let go of several employees. Nearly all their employees now have been let go to pursue careers in other areas. Yeah.
One of the things that I was asking Zelly on Saturday there, and I don't know if you were present because I know that you were trying to eat and get set up for our Saturday night session of MERP, which we'll speak about in a moment. Because I think we're kind of almost due for a question and answer session for MERP. Or
end of October, hopefully. End of October, I think. Well, I'm giving people the opportunity to...
It could be the end of October before this
video
End of
October, beginning of November. So... Yeah, end of October, beginning of November is the MERP Q&A part 1 from the podcast. Right. I'm giving people the opportunity to actually catch up and listen to the podcast,
One of the things that I was saying to Sally before we started our recording session on Saturday there was, will this mean that we're not going to get the Wolf Among Us 2? And I think Sally said that it was pretty much a done deal that we weren't going to get it. Can you confirm or deny what she's telling us?
I don't think we're going to get a Wolf Among Us 2. I think the IP, the intellectual property, has been safeguarded, and I think probably it would be sold to another company. I know there's other companies who are interested in taking on Telltale's style and creativity, and their stories as well. So I don't think it's going to be the end of that particular that genre of game. I don't think it's going to be the end of it. I just don't think Telltale is going to be the ones to continue them. But I think we'll probably see some more of that type of game.
Good, because that particular game is one alongside Life is Strange that I will eventually stream, guys.
What is that?
Probably the next game after this Lego game will be the next Lego game that I've got coming on the 19th of October, and that is the Lego DC Supervillains game. As Wispa can tell you, I'm a bit of a DC fanatic. Just a bit, you know. In fact, I was having conversations with Wispa about possibly doing a Batman-related tabletop game, or a superhero-related tabletop one, after him showing me pictures of the tabletop Batman game that he's seen while he was away with Darkly. So I'm looking into that, and we'll possibly do something with that after I've sat and read the rules, which is something I still need to do. It's Wispa will tell you Jai's not the person for getting things done, because I just do too much. Yeah? I constantly am doing more than one thing at a time.
There was a strong rumour going around that Marvel Studios was looking to buy Telltale.
Well, I can see it. They did well with Guardians of the Galaxy for them, so...
Yeah, they were looking to move the Avengers series onto a Telltale. Yeah.
Well, it will be interesting to see if that happens, and whatever happens in the future with Telltale, I wish them the best of luck. I'm kind of sorry that it's gone the way it kind of has for them, but I'm sure they'll land on their feet, as most other gaming companies tend to do. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do this next level for a little bit longer. We'll go a little bit longer today, because we don't start Dragonlance until about 7ish, do we? Like 7 PM UK time?
Yeah, we like to have a bit of a break beforehand, though, just to get things sorted out, yeah.
And here we go with a cutscene.
Aunt Claire will probably send people out looking for us. We can wait here.
It'll find us.
No, it won't. Stop it. Come on.
The little Gallimimus there at the end. Alrighty, so with us being in the level now, we can chatter away about more things. So the most recent comment you got on our MERP series is something that I'd actually like to talk about, because you mentioned it to us on Saturday there.
Yeah, that's not our most recent one, but it's one of our recent ones, yeah.
Well, yeah. Recent as of Saturday there.
As of Saturday, yeah.
As of Saturday previous to this recording, which is being done on Monday the 8th of October.
Yeah.
So, if you'd like to tell the viewers that we have what that comment was, that would be really appreciated.
I get messages. Like I said, I get messages all the time about MERP and about Middle Earth and about what our role playing, what we do, and all the rest of it. And I got a message from a person called Jason who lives in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna get. I think it is. I think it's Pennsylvania. Was it Pennsylvania? I think it was Pennsylvania. I can't remember. It was somewhere in the United States, and he said that he loves the story, is listening to the story, and he got up to the part where Theo and Estelle had just left Rivendell heading for the Misty Mountains. And he mentioned that it was posted on that the actual podcast itself, or links to the podcast, had somebody had shared it on the Fantasy Grounds forum. Which was surprising because I'm not a one to visit the Fantasy Grounds forum. I know Fantasy Grounds is an alternative to like Tabletop Simulator and to Roll20. And somebody had obviously listened to our podcast or listened to the MERP series or watched it and then posted links to it and with a running thing about what was happening in Middle-earth roleplay on the Fantasy Grounds forum, and he said he stumbled across it and he was checking it out, and he like me said he hadn't played for like nearly 30 years, played Rollmaster for 30 years, and he was wanting to join a community that could play Rollmaster and MERP. And I did reply back to him. I sent a couple of replies back to him because he was asking about being part of it, and I did explain that Series 1 was done a couple of years ago, and Series 2 that we're recording now is pretty much well underway. But there will be a Season 3, which will be coming in a couple of years' time. And there will be the opportunity for people.
Hear that, we tend to think, oh god, Season 3, what will we make?
Season 3 will be a couple of years' time, yeah. And that'll be the overall story arc. But the overall story has already been written, it's already been planned. And there is some characters being brought into Season 2, and there's some old characters being brought back, and some new enemies being brought in, some old enemies being brought in. An overall story arc is going to get a lot more twisted, a lot more intriguing. But the overall was that they absolutely love the listening to the series. More recently, I got an email from a guy who's a trucker who drives across the United States, and he wanted the URL. We'll call the URS, which is the address where the server, where the files are kept, so he could program his podcast software to be able to listen to our episodes, because one of our he didn't have anything that resembled a podcast host that he could listen to. So I sent him an address where he could type that information into his podcast browser, and he could listen to that series. So he's going to be traveling across the United States. This is the guy who's going to be traveling across the United States in his truck, listening to Estelle and Theo. And then I got another one. I think it was just the other day. I got one from somebody called Mark who said he was listening to the series. Then he realised that he'd actually already heard episode 1 from season 1, and he'd listened to it on our YouTube channel. But now he's migrated across to the actual podcast, so he's listened to them on the YouTube channel, and he's also now continued to listen to them on the podcast as well. So I get lots of messages. I get lots of little bits of information from people posting bits and pieces, sending them through to me. But they're all coming through to my email address. So what I've done is I've now set up a new one called merp@i-gameonline.net. And all the information now, all those, I've told everybody on the various sites and on the various forums where MERP has been hosted and where MERP's been talked about and where the podcast has been talked about and iGames has been talked about.
So I'm just going to stop Wispa there for a quick second. So what we've just done there in the game, guys, that was a lot of theirs, is help that little conthignasis out. So that was one of the sick dinosaurs that we needed to help, and normally these little buggers are meat eaters and extremely dangerous, especially if they swarm you in a pack. Note the Lost World Jurassic Park, where a bunch of these little guys took down a fully grown man. So we're going to switch to that. Now, if you read the Michael Crichton novel, you'll actually get to read a scene, and this is something that I actually spoke about while going through Jurassic Park 3. There's a scene where these little terrors actually make it to the mainland, and these particular dinosaurs weren't really known for going after like big prey. You know, they tended to go for smaller prey like the babies or smaller dinosaurs. In the book, there is actually a really scary scene where the conflict Nathis actually make it to the mainland, like I said, and they kind of run amok round about the same time the T-Rex is in San Diego. And they break into a woman's house who has just recently put her baby down for a nap, and they get in the crib with the baby. And it's all, nothing's actually shown what happens to the baby. It's all kind of like done in a thunder and lightning scene. So the tension is extremely there, which is why I would say that the Consignaces are very, very dangerous. In a very interesting addition to Jurassic Park, and I kind of hope they're in the last movie, which I do believe is going to be next year before it's scheduled. The last movie? Not 100% sure, but I'm sure your local internet service provider or researcher will tell you. Right, sorry, I just need to figure out what it is I need to do. Or where I need to go. But sorry there, I interrupted you, Wispa. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, so we got guys, I get messages all the time, so I've now set up a new email address for people to be able to send messages to me, to Murph.
What I really loved about
fan
that
art
email,
and fan stories and all that kind of stuff, they can start sending it to the new email address, which is merp, M-E-R-P, at i-gameonline.net.
what I really loved about that message was how he said that the first guy had said that they were listening to Estelle and Theo and how they just left Rivendell. Not an awful lot of people know this, but I was getting ready to join Lee and Zelly, or Estelle and Theo at that point, as villain traps. So I had actually asked Wispa, was it okay for me to sit in on a few sessions and just listen to how it was going, because that was the first ever tabletop that I had done. And I'm talking prior to doing Dragonlance. By the time I'd done Dragonlance, I already had MERP 1 underneath my belt. So I think it was just roughly, maybe just be an episode out of Rivendell when I joined. Possibly, maybe a little bit more than that, I'm not sure. But I remember listening to the dynamic of Theo and Estelle and just thinking, how haven't they killed each other by now?
Yeah.
But I think it stands as a test of how how good of friends we all are with each other. Like, the most insane things can and do happen on our tabletop sessions, and we just keep going with them. You know, like, it doesn't, like, when Theo's character hits mine not long after meeting him, me as a person didn't hold that against Lee. I was just like, okay, that happened. Big deal. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's so much fun.
there's a lot of character development, a lot of dynamics, and there's a lot of a story that has to be picked up on for our map series. But and hopefully when we start Space Master, there will be a continuation of that. So Space Master will be an opportunity to bring in new players,
Definitely.
and new dynamics.
And you heard it here first, guys. New players possibly coming in.
New players coming into Space Master. New strange characters and creatures and worlds, and it's very Guardians of the Galaxy kind of Blade Runner meets Middle Earth kind of comedy continuation.
Alright, up
So, just as I'm kind of jumping, another thing I hate, jumping puzzles, although that one wasn't too bad. Any tabletop session we do, guys, it is strictly up to the GM how many people we tend to have on it. And some people who are young or new to GMing, they don't really want to take on as much as they can handle, or more than they can handle, essentially. So if you don't get picked for a session that we're doing, please, please, please don't despair, because there will probably be another session coming along at another point in time.
Yes.
Because I know we've had a lot of interest in our Dragonlance series.
Yeah, we had a lot of people at Dragonlance. We try not to have, or I try not to have too many people in the session, because it slows things down a bit, slows story down. MERP, we're predominantly going to have 4 or 5 in, and that'll be the limit, just for story reasons and for recording reasons and editing reasons.
Yes.
Space Master is going to probably maybe have between 7 to 8 people in it, depending on who's playing what and what's happening. But it should be pretty good. If you're interested in Star Trek and Galaxy, Space Galaxy and all that kind of stuff, Galaxy Quest, Guardians of the Galaxy kind of stuff, then Space Master is going to be the one to listen to. We've already got a theme tune already composed for it.
Good.
An intro made. So that's going to be coming probably early next year. It should be listenable by next spring, I'm hoping, in podcast form. And the other thing that I'm probably going to be starting as well is another podcast series called Postcards from Middle-earth, which is going to be a tour, a different location each week. I'm going to try and do maybe weekly, a different location each week, where I'm going to take the listeners on an audio tour of different places in Middle-earth, set in Middle-earth, where I will give them an audio tour, an introduction, a description in detail of the places that you can find in Middle-earth roleplay, which people can listen to and come along and experience for themselves. So that's going to be Postcards from Middle-earth. It's going to be a different location every week or so, but that's going to be coming in later next year. Yeah.
So one of the things I'm going to ask now is, again, related to iGame itself. Out of all of our content that we've posted, in which we have posted a lot, guys, like, everybody thinks that I started doing the hold on, can this little thing go diving in the dirt? Nope. Everybody thinks that I started doing the inside cosplay, like, just off my own back. It's actually through iGame that I started doing that, and I'm continuing to do that. Although we haven't had any inside cosplays for a while, and I do apologise on that, guys. It is very difficult to get a hold of cosplayers who are free, because we are technically still in the cosplay season. But I will hopefully be having a cosplay podcast in November, relatively soon, to talk about all the kind of places that we've been and conventions we've went to, and I'm actually hoping to get to a convention myself relatively soon, the 10th and the 11th of next month, so keep an eye out on my Instagram for live streams coming from that. But we'll see, because I am working on a cosplay for it, one which I think I'm going to look exceedingly questionable in, but whatever. Okay, so I need to. Okay.
Come on, Zach.
Gray doesn't want to go diving in the poo, apparently. The Dino poo. It's full of bricks. This was a really interesting scene in the movie when they rebuild a car, essentially. I honestly thought, like, why have two young kids rebuild a car? It's just weird to me.
One more piece to go.
Like, what did you think of that particular scene, Wispa? Did you find that weird, or...?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it probably wasn't needed.
I found it interesting, and they developed the character bonds on Zack and Gray.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was kind of scratching my head, going, like, Zack could maybe rebuild a car, and Gray is supposed to be like super smart, but the hell, you know?
Let's see if it starts.
So we have a working car. Yay!
Woo! It works. I thought you failed your driver's test.
No. Only the driving part.
Oh.
No.
Her tracking implant. She clawed it out. They made it out. You hear that?
There's your Gandalf moment, Wispa.
Mm.
Lego
How
Gandalf.
did they get one of these running?
Now, there was a scene in the movie that was cut just prior to Claire and Owen finding Zack and Gray, or where they had been, where it's between where Owen tells Claire to go back to the control center,
They knew how to trick us into letting it out.
and she kind of stubbornly refuses to go back because it's her nephews essentially out there, which is commendable to Claire because, you know, she is not exactly what I would call an outdoorsy type character, or at least not in that particular point in Jurassic World. But he explains to her that, oh, we're gonna get a mini kit. He explains to her that they have to mask their scent from the Indominus Rex. So Owen puts a little bit of a mixture of dinosaur poo and dirt on his skin, and he offers to help Claire, and Claire just smothers herself in tiny shit. You know, like, completely smothers herself. Which I thought was a great scene, and it would have been better than Zack and Gray working on the car, and that's kind of what they went for in the movie. So I was like, okay, you guys kind of went with that scene. You could have went with an even funnier one, but you went with this one, so it still worked, you know. I think they went with the Zack and Gray scene because they were trying to tell this story of Claire where she needs to learn not to be so cold. Because she's a businesswoman, and I mean, heaven forbid Claire be a businesswoman, you know?
Hang on a sec.
Heaven forbid she wants to do well at her job and be proficient in her job. But, not really much I can do or say on that
I don't
front.
think my knife can cut through all that.
But it was nice to see them try to do that family bonding thing with her. So they stick a divorcing couple's children on an island full of dinosaurs. What are you gonna do? Track. Owen can track. No, he can't. So that must be a Robert Muldoon, which means, guys, must be a free play thing. Claire, you jump up. Nice little appearance there by the Indominus Rex.
That looks dangerous.
Good.
So let's see, is there any more questions for Wispa? Currently no. So guys, if you have questions for Wispa, please put them in the chat. If you want to ask him anything about iGame, now is the opportunity to do so. Because while we're doing Dragonlance, he won't be answering any questions about iGame. He'll be too busy trying to sing to all of the characters on Dragonlance. Well, speaking of which, I think this week's episode of Dragonlance is going to be very, very interesting. Simply because of certain things that were hinted to the last time when we played Dragonlance. Which, by the way, Gloria didn't come out smelling like roses in that episode. As I'm sure you're fully aware of, Wispa.
Oh, I'm aware. I know. Faye's told me what's happening.
She did a great job of playing Gloria last week. But she did say that she was following your directions to the letter. But I personally feel as if Gloria is not going to get away with being as her usual self kind of thing. I think there's going to be questions asked of Gloria, if they haven't been already.
Well, they haven't been asked yet, but we'll see how tonight's episode goes.
It's always a really fun thing to do on a Monday. It's Dragonlance, guys. It's why I look forward to a Monday.
How's your balance?
It's good. I hope.
I think the Indominus Rex wants to have me for lunch. So, as I was mentioning in previous recording, and this is going on to the the current movie in the franchise of Jurassic Park, where we have the Indoraptor, or Ripper, as he's affectionately called on the Ultiori YouTube channel, which, guys, if you haven't checked her out already, please go and check her out, because she does some amazing videos, fact videos and theory videos on Jurassic Park, as well as checking out Clayton Fulton,
Come on, it's just...
who's also another really great source of information for all types of dinosaurs, as well as Jurassic Park theory videos. But after watching the 5th movie in the installment, I have to admit it kind of isn't what I was expecting.
Wait down here.
You know, it was a good movie for what it was, but it just felt as if there wasn't enough dinosaurs in it. You know, I thought confining the second act to one little manor area just was kind of off. You know, like I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see the current movie Wispa.
I've probably caught bits of it when it's on, as I don't get a lot of time to watch. I need a lot of time to sit down and actually watch a movie. I need to make time to sit down and watch a movie.
Well, I think it's still currently at the cinema, so I don't think it's out on DVD just yet. But from what I've seen of it, you know, because I've seen the movie, but oh, wrong button. It didn't feel as if it was like in the second act felt really, really slow. The first act was really good because they were on Isla Sorna, where Jurassic World takes place and where Jurassic Park took place.
Mm-hmm.
And they're essentially trying to get the dinosaurs off the island because the mountain, well, and you're supposed to get on that. Okay. There's a volcano that is on that island, and it's due to erupt essentially, and they're doing their extreme best to get what dinosaurs are technically still on the island off the island, and possibly to the neighbouring island of Isla Sorna, which I know it sounds like a lot of islands, but the people who have taken over from Simon Masroni's company, some of them want to take one of every species and bring it back to what is called the Lockwood Manor. Now, the head person of the Lockwood Manor is actually somebody who is in the Michael Crichton novel of Jurassic Park. He's John Hammond's essentially second, you know, like his partner in crime. Oops, me and Claire are completely failing because I can't see what I'm doing. So it was interesting to finally get that character in the canon of Jurassic Park. And we actually have learned that dinosaurs weren't the only thing that John Hammond and Mr. Lockwood were cloning. So I'm not going to say what else was cloned, but if you want to know, you're going to have to go watch the movie to find out. As the Indominus Rex sticks its ugly head in. I think we can hide with Owen. Because Owen has that lovely chance to go invisible. Let's see. Hi Pen, how are you doing? I have Pen Chanter in the chat. So Pen, we have a special guest with me today. We have the wonderful Wispa Greentop from the iGame Online website, which no doubt you've heard me mention before. So if you have any questions about iGame whatsoever, this is the man to ask. So pop your question in the chat and we will most happily do our very best to answer said question.
How's your limbo dancing?
While Claire gets some limbo dancing done. So we have covered quite a few things earlier in the stream about iGame itself, but like how iGame got started, like its inception, and what it was before it became iGame. So we've also covered some of the content that we do, like Dragonlance and MERP, or Middle Earth role-playing session. as well as talking about some of the other things that we did when we started. But what do you feel has been the most interesting thing that iGame has done to date that no other website has, Wispa?
No other website has. I mean, I'm sure other websites have done similar things to what we've done. It's difficult to say what we've done. We've tried a lot of different things. Some things work for our community, and some things don't work for our community. It just depends on who's involved and how much work we want to put into it.
Well, what would you say would be one of the things that iGame has that nowhere else has? You know.
Tell them to send everything they've got.
Probably our. I don't know. I wouldn't really want to say what our website's got that others haven't really got.
Well, there is one thing that we can mention that they have, and that is the level complete, guys. And that is the wonderful artificial intelligence, Iona. Wispa has spent an immense amount of time teaching Iona many different things, and Iona has gone through a crap ton of changes in the 4 years that iGame has been live. Just so that you guys know, Iona started life as essentially just a mascot for our website.
She still technically is that, yes.
Yeah, well, she hasn't really changed that particular role, but she went through so many different changes to the point where there was a few things that were in the works with Iona that I do believe might still be in the works.
They might still be. Just again, it's a time commitment issue and a technical issue as well.
One of the big things that I remember you did with Iona, and it freaked myself, Lee, Zelly, and Honeyjade, and possibly Faye out, was when you had Iona talking to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
She can still technically do that, it's just disabled.
I think it's just disabled for a lot of people because it freaked us out. But I always thought that that was really cool that she did speak to us and that she would go and grab pieces of information for various different things. And she still does all these really, really cool features, guys. She's not lost any of them. I do believe she can come in to our Discord, if I'm not mistaken.
She does monitor the Discord, yeah. So if we put something on the website, if any of our members post anything on the website, then she picks up on that and distributes it across our Discord and our notifications. The latest thing that Iona kind of does now is keeps us more informed on our mobile devices of things that are happening on the website, as well as acting as a go-between between our Discord and our Facebook and our other services and the website as well. So where before in the past she used to go out onto the internet and then look for relevant information and post it, now she's doing it. She's doing more like a delivery kind of distribution service.
Awesome.
Where she's sending information out from us. Yeah.
So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes where you guys can ask questions in the Twitch channel. Winning lottery numbers for tomorrow here in the States. Okay,
in the States, I don't know what lottery numbers you have in the States. They're different to ours in the UK and Europe.
We're not unfortunately, so we can't give you the winning lottery numbers.
Although we heard it's quite a bit of money. So it's 750 million US dollars or something close to that now, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll be telling our wonderful Dungeon Master Faye to put on a lottery ticket because I'm feeling lucky.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do very, very quickly, guys, is we're going to do a quick fire round with Wispa. So if you want to ask him a question, please put it in the Twitch chat now. You will get a free shout out as well as me reading your question. So the reason we've actually had Wispa today is to talk about iGame in general and what it does and where we are essentially. So you can always visit us on igameonline.net. We're very, very easy to find. The reason we're actually having Wispa today, other than to talk about the amazing wonderfulness that is iGame, is because we have another special event actually happening this Wednesday. We have the iGame Online 5th birthday. It's been 5 years on Wednesday, the 10th of October, since we started iGame. So we thought, or I thought, it would be a good idea to have Wispa join me today on the Monday stream and talk a little bit about what is going on. So if you have any questions about what we're actually going to be doing for Wednesday, because we will be back live on Wednesday doing a little bit of doing a teeny tiny bit of Chatbox TV, hopefully. So please do ask any of your questions right now, guys, and we'll get it in. Okie dokie. So post your questions now, guys. As Mrs. Wispa comes home. So don't be afraid to ask any questions, guys. Like I said, me and Wispa will be back around about 7 PM UK time, which will be hopefully in just another hour, where we will be joined by the wonderful Fayaz and Darkly, Zeli Hayakulos, Gilgamesh, Honey Jade, Nanya, and I'm sorry if I've missed anyone else out. How many are involved in the campaign? I've just kind of went through the Dragonlance people, but unfortunately, Pen, that is a locked campaign now. But don't despair, because there are other tabletop campaigns in the works that we will be publicising. When we have a new campaign coming out, that will probably go to the Facebook page, so it's iGame Online on Facebook. So keep an eye on there for any future tabletops that we're going to be doing. I know that Wispa was talking about doing a Deep Space campaign earlier in the stream. Oh, the company. Well, there's Wispa himself, who is the owner and well, he's the co-creator. Well, he is the creator / co-coordinator of the company. There's myself, Jai452. There's Darkly, there's Zelly, there's Honey Jade, and there's of course the wonderful Fayaz. But there's many, many, many more people on our Discord and part of the website itself. So Pen was just asking there, Wispa, how many people are within iGame itself, and I was saying the main people, as well as the fact that we have multiple more people in the Discord.
Yeah, the core group is probably about 8.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe about 8 of us, I'm thinking, in the core group.
Yep.
Outside the core group, there's probably maybe another 6 or 7 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All do different things. All contribute in some way or another. But we try to keep the group small. We try not to take on too many very large projects for the time being. But we always like to invite people to come along and adventure with us or game with us, but mostly we allow our content to be listened to and to be watched freely on various devices and things like that, and just to enjoy listening to our stories, more or less. That's what Faye would say. Faye describes us as gamers, story writers, and we record those stories and those adventures, and we let people listen to them and watch them.
We bring them to you, the masses, on Twitch and YouTube and various other places. I said not the masters, masses.
Oh, yeah. Is that Lego Man in red? Is that Lego Man jamming?
Yeah, he's
the Lego.
That's Zach he's talking about. Zach listens to music occasionally, and I can't help but shake the feeling that Gray kind of looks like Bilbo from Lego The Hobbit.
They all kind of look this. Yeah, they all. There's almost so much you can do with a Lego figure.
This is very true.
They're all going to look very, very similar, not counting robots and dinosaurs and such like that. All the humanoidish figures are all going to start looking pretty similar.
Okay, guys. So if you have any more questions, please do very quickly get them in, because I'm going to end the stream very, very soon, so that me and Wispa can disappear from each other before we end up killing each other in Dragonlance.
Yeah, go along and listen to our watch us play Dragonlance. Listen to our Middle-earth roleplay podcast, which is available on about 14 different platforms now. On Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, Overcast, Listen Notes, Player FM. Just search for Middle-earth roleplay, all individual words. And you can go along and listen to that, or check us out on our YouTube channel as well. We've still got a good amount of content on there.
And don't forget to be checking out my YouTube channel, guys, where there's plenty more content going up. Hopefully later this week I will get part 16 and 17 of Lego Jurassic World uploaded to my YouTube channel, so be on the lookout for that. Parts 16 and 17, yeah, so parts 18 and 19 will hopefully soon follow, as well as 20 and 21. I might come back to doing this tomorrow, guys, because I really want to try and get this game finished before the 19th of this month. But don't despair, I'm only wanting to try and finish the story mode. I will happily come back and do free play mode and running around in the open world doing various little missions, because I've been leaving a lot of them so that I can do it on an off day and just play around and stream with you guys and chat and all the rest. So just before we go, guys, don't forget there is iGame's 5th birthday this Wednesday. That is the 10th of October. Hopefully we will be streaming some Jackbox party games, Jackbox TV party games, and of course if you can't get enough of me or enough of Wispa, you can join us at 7 PM UK time, so in about an hour's time, where we'll be joined by the wonderful Fayaz, Gilgamesh, Darkly, Honey Jade, Zelly, Nanya, and who am I missing?
Gilgamesh.
I got Gilgamesh, Darkly, Nanya, Zelly, Honey Jade, Faye
BBS.
in BBS, when we will be playing our Dragonlance session. So until then, guys, I've been Jai452. Wispa has been Wispa Greentop, and we extend a very big thank you for him coming along today and taking the time out. And Lego Jurassic Park has been Lego Jurassic Park. and hopefully we'll be back again tomorrow. And if not, we'll see you next Monday, guys. But in the meantime, we gotta say bye-bye. You gonna say bye, Wispa?
Oh. See you later, guys. Okay, see you later, guys.